All right. Once again, this is Joe Bullis. It is April the 2nd, 2019, and we are doing the MELS 602 clinical coach session. Excuse me. Um, I hope everybody survived April Fool's Day yesterday, and not too much damage was done to you by the way of practical jokes. Anyway, tonight we're going to basically just kind of go back over task stream. I feel like we've already talked about the APTL. If there's some questions that you've got about the APTL, we'll certainly go into that. But once again, my main goal is to just answer any questions that you have. But before we do that, I will go ahead and do a quick review in task stream of what you need to do. As I promised you in 601, you don't have as much to do in task stream as you in 602 as you did in 601. Hold on just a minute. I've clicked on the wrong thing here. About to violate FERPA. There we go. Okay, MELS 2019. All you do as far as the direct response folio, the DRF, is just submit your APTL. Once again, the process is still the same, and you all know this, but just as a review, you combine all your tasks for the APTL, you submit it in to turn it in. Once you get your turn it in grade and you get a comment from me ready to submit to task stream, you come over here and submit your APTL to task stream for evaluation. The process is the same as it was in 602. Then once you get that, as you notice, you don't have to do competency analysis in 602. You don't have to do a School of Ed dispositions. Please remember and be reminded that you are still in the process of logging your internship hours. You do not submit them anywhere until the end of 605, at which time you'll submit them here. But that isn't for a few more semesters yet. But you still need to be logging those 80 hours. If you haven't done so, you still certainly got a few weeks left to log those for this semester. If it spills over until the break between, even though there's not much of a break between spring and summer semester, that's fine. But continue to log those hours. Several of you have sent them to me for review, and I appreciate that. And so far, everybody's looking good in that regards to getting your internship hours. If you need some ideas and you feel like you're at a loss, contact me either by email or give me a call at the office if you need to. But I can go over. I'm so sorry, my allergies are giving me a fit this evening. But I can go over any ideas and kind of talk to you about where you're at and go over maybe some ideas you haven't thought of to log a few internship hours. So that's basically it for the DRF. Don't forget, you're also going to be doing your competency folio. You do not have to do your competency analysis in the DRF, but you still have to address those competencies in your competency folio. And the rubric, basically whatever competency you didn't address in 601, between the APSL and the APTL, by the end of the APTL, you should be able to pretty much address all of these. If you don't panic. It's okay. Just because of what you may be doing, what you might have done in the APSL and what you might have done in the APTL, there is a possibility that one of these might not be applicable. But at the end of this, you should have addressed each competency at least once. By the end of the program, you will have addressed each one twice by the work you do in the evidences from the APSL all the way to the SCIP, and then one open-ended, which can be whatever you choose it to be. Your handbook gives you some examples of what that could be for open-ended artifact. You do not have to write anything in any of these. You just basically load up your artifact. If you do want to put a sentence of explanation or kind of a description, a brief description or a tag, that's fine. used to. You would have to upload your artifact and pretty much copy your narrative over from your fifth task. But the last accreditation visit from CAPE and the last, I guess, joint conversation with DPI is in the folio. They just want artifacts. They don't want to have to read that. They'll read all the narrative and the other avenues that they have through the APTL itself, and then you can show how that applies to you in your self-assessments, which is the School of Dead dispositions and your competency analysis. So they don't have to read it here as well. Just think of this as basically what it says it is, an electronic portfolio. So if you were an architect or a model and you had a portfolio, then that would just be evidence of your work. Architect would be plans, drawings, blueprints. Model would be photo shoots after photo shoots, not necessarily anything written, just the artifacts. So hopefully that'll kind of help you with what needs to go in here. Is just basically, as you went through the APTL, which one of these competencies did you address? Certainly communication can be in all of them. So, but the goal here is to is to have shown evidence of at least once for each of these artifacts by the end of the APTL. I think the rubric calls for 13. And I've been pretty much keeping up with that as I've been reviewing these and counting them off and cross-referencing them. And if I feel like maybe you might have opportunity to do one that you didn't think that you did, I'll let you know. But so far, everybody's been in great shape and everything's been fine. So that's basically it as far as where you're at with wrapping up 602. Make sure you get all your tasks done in the APTL. Make sure you get them revised. Put it in one document. Get your Turnitin grade. Come over here. Put your APTL in the DRF. Then go over to your competency folio. Log each of your competency artifacts here in the folio. Don't forget to be logging your internship hours, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up for 602. And get ready for 603 this summer. So we can certainly, I think we have one more Zoom session before the end of the semester, and I'll kind of do a little preview on 603 then. But what I'd like to do now is open it up for any questions, or if there's any clarification needed, just please let me know.
I've got a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we're uploading our evidence for portfolio, do you want us to upload everything that we presented in our paper or just what says APTL? Like, I know we did 13 in our paper, but when you look at the competencies and their description, I think only like 4 of them are specific to APTL.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can any artifact that you have that will address it. Yeah, you certainly do want to go ahead and upload those into APTL. If there is something, if a company's not applicable to that, I know you addressed them, but if you don't have an artifact for that, just know that by 605 you'll need to find an artifact for that as well. So if something's not applicable, as you said, based on the APTL, then you're going to make it up at some of the other evidences that you'll be doing. So that'll be fine. You know, don't create an artifact if you don't already have one just to fit it into the competency, because it'll come in later on in the program as well. Just make sure that you address the competency in your task, your last task for the APTL, in the narrative piece of that.
Okay, and then the final result is that you have 3 evidence in each competency, correct?
That's correct. And pretty specific on that is that 3 in each competency. 2 of those comes from what you did in your evidences. 1 needs to be open-ended. And okay. that could be you presenting to a faculty, or maybe if you were in high school and you kind of helped with some of the scheduling things, or even when students come in and readjusted their schedule because something was wrong, just talking at a board meeting. Yeah, there's several options for the open-ended that you can do.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey, Dr. Bullis, it's Rode. How are you?
I'm fine, Rode. How are you?
Good. I was just wondering. So I know we spoke a little bit about like when I put my paper in to turn it in, I just have to wait. Do you know like how long? Like, will I get a notification saying that it's already been reviewed so I can put it in task stream, or like how does
Yeah,
that work?
you will. It's a little bit similar to what you did in your task, but and it just depends. It could be anywhere from 24 to 48 hours on the turn it in. But what you'll do is you'll get notification of an email notification. I'm sorry, I was thinking task stream, but you'll need just to go in and check, and when you see that grade, and you'll be able to, the grade will be 100, and then you'll be able to see where it says in the comments section, ready for task stream. And at that point in time, you can go ahead and submit to task stream.
Okay, because I'm looking at it now and I don't see any like grades, so I'm thinking like, what do I do now? Because I
Yeah,
know. Because I know like I've sent all of mine into the evaluation Dropbox and all of it's fine, but Turnitin hasn't given me any grade though.
okay, that should come. When did you submit it, Ro? Do you
A while ago, like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Oh, really? Well, let me hold on. I'm gonna reach for my pen here. Let me make a note of that. Okay,
Thank
now
you.
you're welcome. I'll check on that, but there's not been any grade posted. Did you say?
No, like I'm looking and turning it in right now under your shell, and there's nothing there.
Okay, I made a note of it. As soon as we get off, I'll check on that, and I can locate the problem. Let me. I'll send you email and let you know. I'm sure there's not one. I mean, your tasks have been good, and I don't think there would
Right.
be an issue. So let me check on that, and I appreciate you letting me know. We'll track that down and see what the problem is. Usually,
Thank
I'll
you.
get. Yes, you're welcome. Usually, I'll get notification as well. And I haven't got notification on yours, but we'll definitely check into it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have any questions or need any clarification or any help with anything?
I have a rather silly question. For the school profile portion, I used the profile I wrote in my Absol. Is that going to blow up Turnitin when I go to submit my stuff?
No, that's taken in consideration, and that's a really good question, Brian, or anybody else that may have pulled, if you got some other candidates at your school, which has happened in the past, and pulling that same information maybe from a website or something. There's a certain degree of flexibility there, and turn it in when the reviewer looks at it. It gives a user report. And in that user report, it gives the percentages of that paper that are found in different literature. And usually the highest one, that percentage of each paper that a reviewer would see is Gardner Webb information. And that goes with a certain understanding that that's probably going to happen, especially as you progress through each of the evidences. You're going to be reusing some of these things over and over, especially the teacher working condition information. You're going to reuse that several times. So there's an understanding there that's going to be within a certain percentage point of some hit because of what's been done in the past. If there's any problem whatsoever, the reviewer will contact me and I'll contact you, and then we can work through it. But so far, since we've been using Turnitin in this way, which I think this is the third or fourth semester, there's never been an issue with it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, it's a great question, though.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Is there anything else there that I can help anybody with or answer any questions? All right. Well, if you think of something, as always, send me an email. I've got a little to-do list here, Rhoda. I haven't forgot about you. I'll work on that here in just a second. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. Hopefully give you some information here in the next minute or so. In the meantime, you guys reach out to me if you need anything. I don't know. I haven't been told of any updates happening with TaskStream. Sometimes that can be an issue if they're doing an update while you're trying to upload something, but usually they'll send us an email and let us know. But as we approach the end of the semester, if you run into any roadblocks, any speed bumps whatsoever as you go down this road, feel free to contact me. We'll get together right before the end of the semester, just kind of make sure everybody's in good shape, and we'll do a little preview of 603. Until then, I hope you and your family stay safe and healthy, and we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thank
night.
you.